What is up, guys? It is the John Gasm coming at you today with another conspiracy theory. The conspiracy theory we are talking about today will not ruin your childhood. It is not about some TV show that you cherished as a kid, nor is it about a movie you cherished as a kid. Unless you were me, because as a kid I did cherish this movie, and that movie is Anchorman. But in my opinion, this theory makes the movie even better. One thing that I've always thought was a key element in the comedy of Anchorman and what made it so successful was how interesting the characters were. We have Ron Burgundy, the smooth-talking, award-winning anchor with fantastic facial hair. We have Champ Kind, the closet homosexual who loves sports. Brick Tamland, the lamp-loving meteorologist with an IQ of 48. As well as Brian Fantana, the reporter who named his genitals and wears some of the nicest cologne known to man. He uses a lot of nice cologne, but there's one cologne that he uses that I believe sticks out in everybody's mind. A cologne that smells like a used diaper filled with Indian food. Of course, I'm talking about Sex Panther by Odeon. The cologne that claims that 60% of the time, it works every time. That doesn't make any sense. Most people, including me before I read this theory, would say that this motto really doesn't make any sense. However, because on this show we need to question every detail about every movie ever made, we're gonna say that it actually does make sense. Not only does it make sense, it makes perfect sense. 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 To explain this, we're going to look at the first time that Brian Fantana uses this cologne. Literally, everyone at the news station thinks that it smells awful. The terms pure gasoline and Bigfoot's dick were used as a comparison to how bad it smelled. Who's to say, though, that this time that he used it was just part of the 40% of the time it doesn't work? What the entire motto should say is 60% of the time it works every time. 40% of the time it doesn't. The reason we're saying this is because at the end of the movie, Mr. Fantana is wearing the cologne again in a huge crowd at a zoo. Only this time, not only does no one comment on how bad he smells, a female zookeeper right next to him actually thinks that he smells good. This instance, my friends, is one that would qualify as the 60% of the time. You see, there's more to the motto than we think. What Brian is saying really does make sense. Do I gotta keep saying sense? Because I've said sense about 100 times in this video. 60% of the time the cologne works on everybody, 40% of the time it doesn't. Now there's a few explanations that users on Reddit have come up with. The first explanation says that 60% of the bottles produced of Sex Panther work every time. When Fantana first uses the cologne, he just has part of the 40%. He has a bad batch. But who's to say that he didn't realize this after everybody at the news station realized it was disgusting, and by the end of the movie he had purchased a new bottle, which was part of the good 60%. Another explanation that was brought up was that every time Sex Panther is used, a new unique scent is created. 60% of the time, that scent is loved by everybody, or at least females. But 40% of the time, it smells like a turd covered in burnt hair. And the final explanation is that it works 100% of the time on 60% of people. And everybody who works at the news station could just be part of the 40% it doesn't work on. So 60% of the population should love the smell of Sex Panther every single time it's sprayed, but 40% will hate it regardless. Whatever explanation you decide to believe, the point of the theory is this. Sex Panther works every time. 60% of the time. I mean, it's made with bits of real panther. You know it's good. And that, my homies, is the Anchorman conspiracy theory. Thank you to Reddit user Flandangle for providing us with this awesome interpretation. As always, I've got to ask you guys to do me a couple of favors, including rating, commenting, and subscribing. And also, if you feel like being a super fan, I have links to all of my social media accounts in the description down below. That includes my Facebook fan page, my Instagram, and my Twitter. I strongly recommend you guys follow and like all of those because it is on those sites where you can stay updated with what I'm doing when I'm not making videos. However, and I know I just went on a long tangent, if you don't feel like doing any of those things, all I've got to say is thank you for watching this video up to this point. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for stopping by, and stay fresh.